let's talk about NAEP scores. One of the biggest hurdles is that our kids don't have the background knowledge they need for those tests.
Right. So the fancy word in schools is called schema or schemata, but basically it's filing cabinet. Okay. So the filing cabinet of the brain and the way the information is filed away in the brain matters for the reading process because it matters for the orthographic to link up to the sounds. So basically, your orthograph is the way that the word looks. So if you picture the word cat in the letter CAT, that is sounds that go to those letters, and but the actual print is the orthograph, and you have to link the phonemic awareness and the sounds, the phonics, to each of those sounds. So being able to do that is a key underpinning, and I think a lot of our kiddos struggle with that. One, because print looked differently on a screen versus what it looked like in person. You look at those results in those fourth grade tests, right? They were learning ortho print, the link to what the word looks like to what they sound like when they were in COVID. So they were passed on. If they were in kinder, they didn't finish out their kinder year, right? Then first grade, it was hit and miss, whether they were there and whether their teacher was there and whether their instruction was stable. So I think that had a big factor to it. Okay. So I think we have to take the scores where they are and say, what this does do for us is it calls us to action. Really, it's not about saying what did or didn't happen. It's not really about an excuse.
I'm getting ready to push back a little bit. I'm actually looking at the eighth grade
Right.
results.
Yes.
And so while I think there's a lot of credence to the explanation that the fourth grade
Sure.
test scores reflect that the instructional challenges of
Right.
COVID, how do we explain that huge decrease, especially in that lower quartile of poor readers in eighth
Mm-hmm.
grade?
Mm-hmm.
Their scores went down even more than the fourth grade scores in that lower quartile went down. How do
100%.
you speak to
That's
that?
not only are they not having that literacy right that they need, but they miss some key schemata building that is going to affect everything for them. I honestly, I cannot tell you that I project reading scores to go up because if we look at the last 40 years, what's happened? We haven't had any gains or
Mhm.
successes. And it's because we're not really looking at the foundational truths. Reading starts in the brain. And if you follow along with what the research says, we all know that reading has to begin in the brain. And if there's foundational weaknesses for these kids, then that is going to have huge repercussions when they get to those upper grades.